Hello people, Secret Anime Fan here. Today's video is on Shiryu of the Rain, and this video will be about his story and an overview of his character, and will act to educate and I suppose to review the character named Shiryu. Now that's all out of the way, let's get started. Oh, and if you're interested in more characters that intertwine with the story of Shiryu, then go check out my video on the 4 other level 6 impelled and prisoners. I chose to give Shiryu his own video because he has a slightly more interesting and in-depth story, but I may skip over some details, so make sure to check out the other video. Oh, and of course there may be spoilers, but as always I'll try to keep them to a minimum, and please forgive me if you're aware of the One Piece story when I choose to leave out certain parts for the sake of the viewer who's not in the know of the One Piece story. And if you're yet to watch One Piece, I hope these videos give you a kind of clue of what kind of characters are in One Piece, and hopefully if you like one of these videos you think, oh, I might go watch One Piece now, that'd be really great. That's kind of the aim of these videos. Okay, I'm going to start with his appearance, but I will keep it short as he is shown on screen. As you can see, Shiryu is quite the large man and looks quite the badass. He is one of a select few who was able to retain his clothes after being imprisoned. In level 6 of Impel Down, the only other one to retain his clothes out of the 5 who would go on to join the Blackbeard crew was Alvaro Pizarro. His clothing is that of a jailer, that being Shiryu of the Rain. That's the person I'm talking about, as he was the previous warden or head jailer, however you want to name it, so it might be a sign of respect to allow him to retain his clothes. As for Alvaro Pizarro, he was a previous king, so maybe that's why he got to keep his clothes, or maybe it's just all arbitrary, who knows, or perhaps it could be a sign to other Impel Down staff that this is what happens when you break the rules, and thus his clothes symbolise that message, although he is held down in the secret or little known floor of Impel Down, so who knows. Okay, let's move on to the Impel Down arc. Shiryu of the Rain was reluctantly released by Magellan, the current warden at the time, in order for Shiryu to assist in returning order to Impel Down after escapees were causing trouble in Impel Down. And when some high profile level 6 prisoners were released, Shiryu's services were needed. Unfortunately for Magellan, Shiryu of the Rain had other plans. As soon as he was released and given his sword from one of the guards, he decided to cut all the jailers in front of him. He later bumped into Blackbeard and his crew who had entered Impel Down. He had a job to take them out, but seemingly lets them off the hook for unknown reasons. We later see him in Impel Down control room / monitor room, where he cuts off communications to Marine headquarters and shuts down the monitors for Impel Down, and he wipes out the staff in the monitor room just as they are informing Magellan of the situation. Looks like Shiryu follows the motto snitches get stitches, rule for sure. Later on, Shiryu appears and talks commence between him and Blackbeard, and this is where things all become clear. Shiryu comes and saves the day, providing Blackbeard and his crew with just what they needed. I'm going to leave it at that as to avoid spoilers. Basically, he saves the day, but Blackbeard invites Shiryu to join his crew, which he accepts, saying he's waiting for a man of Blackbeard's stature to appear, and he sees no future for himself in Impel Down, thus betraying Magellan. Now, I'm going to skip over his other appearances in the series, but if you want to find out more, go watch my other video on the other 4 level 6 Impel Down prisoners, which explains their appearances so far in the series, as their stories are the same as Shiryu after Impel Down. Okay, let's move on to his personality now. I've already dropped bits of information here and there as of his personality. So apart from his violent and bloodthirsty personality, he's also seen as having a sarcastic side. For example, when he cuts down the jailers that released him, he gave a sarcastic apology. Interestingly enough, the apology he gave, called, sorry for butchering this, but called Kuri Suti Gomen, is an old Japanese saying meaning something along the lines of authorization to cut and leave the body of the victim, and stems from the samurai's right to strike down an individual of lower class who compromised their honor. In modern days though, the term is still used as an apology, but with subtle humor and sarcasm when offering the apology. Used as like an unsympathetic apology, as you will. Despite this instance of sarcasm, it seems not to play a big part in his personality. What is more of a factor in his personality is his calm, collected nature and his cautious side. This being part of his personality adds an important aspect to the Blackbeard crew, which often takes situations haphazardly, making him a valued member of the crew. Sure, there are other members who kind of do the same role, but either way it's a good addition to the crew. But To expand more on his cautious side, this stems from knowing not to underestimate people. Now, who knows if Blackbeard will take these bits of information seriously. As the story progresses, we are yet to find out. He does show frustration when Blackbeard and his crew lack the hindsight to prepare appropriately for the new world, which is the second part of the Grand Line, basically the second area of One Piece that gets a lot harder to survive, just for the people who are unaware. Well, I suppose it's actually the third kind of area, because there was the East Blue, then Grand Line, then the New World, but that sounds a bit complicated for you who don't know the story, but I suppose just go and find out for yourself. Okay, I briefly touched on this, but Shiryu must have some kind of deceitful / untrustworthy personality, as he did betray Magellan without a second thought. But this might also show another side to his personality, and that is smartness. He knew he had no future in helping bring order to Impel down, and thus chose the correct decision, and he chose it quickly, I must add, which might be another factor of his personality. The ability to make decisions on the fly and make logical decisions. Thus far, he has been shown to be loyal to Blackbeard, contradicting the previous statement that he has a deceitful and untrustworthy personality. But saying that, Blackbeard does refer to him as shady, so who knows at the end of the day. He seems to have a logical kind of personality, making the correct decisions or the correct answer to a question, and seems to have a strict disposition towards those around him. And that's about it for his personality. He does also show to be a bit flippant at times, and also believes strongly in fate. Okay, now moving on to his abilities and power. So as I previously stated, Shiryu was the former warden of Impel Down, and thus must have had the stature to be appointed this role by the world government. They must have had trust in his power to maintain order, and ability to in some capacity lead to his subordinates. He would later on become one of the 10 Titanic captains of the Blackbeard fleet. He is said to be on the same level as Magellan, who was warden at the time, and Magellan was a formidable opponent for the Blackbeard crew, Blackbeard and his crew, and for him to be imprisoned in level 6 must mean he's a formidable character. Also, side note, since Magellan actually suffers from I might as well say it, he suffers from diarrhea, and this is maybe, I think, because he's devil fruit, but since Shiryu doesn't suffer from this detractor, it actually makes him kind of more dangerous in a sense, because you can be as strong as you want, but when Mother Nature calls, then that's it, that's a wrap, isn't it? Anyway, moving on from the whole diarrhea thing, he seems to have both speed and endurance. He was able to cut down a few prison guards in a matter of seconds. He later shows endurance when he's able to take a hit from, this is a minor spoiler, but he's able to take a hit from Whitebeard and then Sengoku, but come away relatively unharmed. But I'll leave it as that, because that's kind of like minor spoilers for Marineford, but as I said, just going to leave it at that. The matter of stealth has come up when talking about Shiryu, as he managed to get to the monitor room and slay the people without being detected, but to be honest, it's not quite clear, as he could have just walked there, as he likely had the authority to do so, but I will give it to him. He did manage to slay the guards without alerting Magellan of the situation. But that leads on to my next point. He definitely has the ability to be stealthy now, as minor spoiler incoming from the manga recently. Shiryu now possesses the Suki no Mi, which I probably just butchered, but please forgive me. But for those who are familiar with One Piece will note that Absalom of Gecko Maria's crew, that is his devil fruit that he once had, which enables Shiryu to turn invisible and whatever he holds invisible, which for Shiryu is an OP devil fruit if you think about it, as he is quite a proficient swordsman. Now he has the ability to sneak up on a person, cut them, then run away. Just quickly, devil fruits are abilities gained by eating a fruit, called devil fruit of course. Now, I have a question for those knowledgeable about One Piece. Do you think people will be able to detect Shiryu with observation haki? Let me know in the comment section. For those who want to know more about observation haki, you should be able to look it up without that big of a spoiler. I might even link a description to a non-spoiler description in the link down below, the bio, where it's called. Also, do you reckon he got his powers via Blackbeard? For those in the know, there's been speculation about Blackbeard being able to take and give devil fruits. I'd also like to hear your opinion on that in the comment section, so yeah, let me know. Now it's unknown if Shiryu possessed haki, but if he didn't before, he most likely does now. Now let's move on to swordmanship. Shiryu is a skillful user of the Nodachi, aka the samurai sword, and whilst he is yet to fully display his power or skill in swordmanship, it is just assumed he is highly skilled. And if you agree with the notion he's going to eventually fight the swordman in Luffy's crew who's immensely talented, then Shiryu is touted to also be a master in swordmanship. And if you're wondering why I didn't name the crew member, it's because I wanted to keep spoilers to a minimum, so please forgive me. Now before I finish the video, I'm going to briefly mention the sword that Shiryu wields, as it can be seen as important. He wields a Meito. Meito. I probably butchered that name, but basically it's a named sword and a sword with status, meaning it's of high quality. It's not known what grade it is. There are different levels of grades for swords who don't know, for those who are not in the know. Its name, as I'm probably going to butcher again, is Ryu, Raiu, and just possessing a grade sword and be able to wield proficiently boosts one's power and displays that they must be skilled in swordmanship. Now there's the question if it's a cursed sword. If so, this may explain Shiryu's bloodthirsty nature, as cursed swords are stated to have an effect on the user in some way. One example is that possessing a cursed sword will eventually bring a horrible death to the user. It's not clear how, if Shiryu's sword is cursed, how it would affect him if it is. But I would bank on it being a cursed sword, plus it seems to glow red when Shiryu first unsheathes it, but later on it glows to a different colour after getting a taste of blood, so possibly that means that the sword thirsts for blood. And that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. I have more videos like this on my channel. I plan to make more and expand into other anime. If you have an anime you want me to do a character story on, let me know in the comment section. Make sure you like and subscribe, and see ya. Oh, and also go check out a video I mentioned earlier on the IMPEL down prisoners. Thanks. See ya.